Now I have these legendary Pokemon from my last video, I guess I should probably start doing some story missions. The 5 Titans should be pretty easy now that I have whoops. Oh man, now the only Pokemon I have left are these level 1 Pokemon with extremely specific movesets and abilities. What am I gonna do? The first and weakest Titan you have to fight in the game is Cloth. According to Cerebi.net, Cloth only knows Block, Rock Smash and Vice Grip, which are all normal or fighting type moves. That means that any ghost type could hypothetically solo the fight without getting hit once. I chose to bring a single Sandygast that knew Sand Tomb to slowly chip away its health, 1/16 at a time. While Cloth is drowning in sand, let's quickly go over the rules of the challenge. Obviously, we only want to use level 1 Pokemon in battle, but for reasons I'll explain later, we'll say it's okay to have other higher level Pokemon in the party as long as they're not used. We also want to keep things interesting, so we're not going to use the same strategies against more than one Titan. We want 5 different sets for 5 different boss fights. And that's it, let's get back to it. As expected, we got through stage 1 without a hitch, whittling its HP down with Sand Tomb. It literally couldn't do a single thing to us. To start stage 2, I jumped down to where Cloth was waiting. I get turned into a smear on the wall in the cutscene. I don't think that's supposed to happen, but you know that wouldn't stop me. The battle started with our NPC friend Arvin joining the fight, and then the Cloth used Rock Throw? So that was a fucking lie. I wasn't prepared for a move that could hit Sandygast, and it easily one-shotted him. So how did I solve the problem on my second try? 2 Sandygast, of course. I just had to spam Sand Attack to lower Cloth's accuracy and hope for the best. And while the first of our pair was knocked out, the second one was able to stick around long enough to finish the job. Rock Tomb missed enough times or targeted Shelter, and with Arvin's help, we took down the first Titan. That's 1 down, 5 to go. The next Titan is Bombardier. We couldn't pull the same shenanigans like we did with Cloth, since this one has an actual real moveset that can hit ghost types. So meet the Starly of the show, complete with a focus band. You might already know where this one is going if you've seen level 1s running around before. I saved the game and entered the fight. Starly immediately got hit and fainted, so I reset and tried again. On this try, the focus band activated its 1 in 10 chance to let Starly survive an attack on 1 HP. And once it did, we were able to use Endeavour. For those not in the know, Endeavour is a move that makes our opponent's health equal to our own, which again is currently exactly 1. From that, Bombardier entered its stage 2 and Arvin showed up again to help with the fight. Good thing he did too, since the Titan targeted his Knackley instead of us, letting us get another Endeavour off and immediately evaporating the second health bar down to 1 as well. Okay, well not exactly 1, I assume due to some second stage protection buff it had, but it certainly got into range for Arvin to finish it off with a smackdown and winning us our second Titan victory. The next Titan is this weirdo. Taking a look at the Cerebi page for it, we can see its only moves are Iron Tail, Headbutt and Wrap. If we had another ghost type, then the only move it could use would be Iron Tail, and that wouldn't be too difficult to deal with. Meet the team for this Titan. These little freaks have the ability Prankster, so they always move first if they're using a status move, which is a pretty big deal when the speed stat of a level 1 is usually fairly abysmal. I really only needed one of them for this, but I was afraid we'd get clothed again and run into trouble against a secret 4th move in the second stage, so I brought it back up. The plan was to expect it to use Iron Tail, the only possible move that can hit my fellas, and dodge it by using Detect. Then I'd use Disable to turn off Iron Tail, and finally use Will-O-Wisp to burn it while it can't use any moves that can land. I started the battle and immediately fucked up the plan I had. Forgetting everything I had set up, I went for a Will-O-Wisp right off the bat. Thank God it landed, because immediately Sableye took an Iron Tail, eating a clean 400 damage, enough to kill him around 30 times over. Good to know. Good thing I brought spares, huh? The backup came out and used Disable, and we were stabilized. Now all I had to do was wait until the Disable wore off and refresh it. Its health eventually ticked down to the point where it fled and started the second phase. Same strategy as phase 1, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. The stage 2 fight went a lot quicker than the first, in no small part due to Arvin's Toadstool using Hex, which does double damage to burn targets. By the way, it did have a secret 4th move, but it was just Sandstorm, so it wasn't a problem. But you're on thin ice, Cerebi. Really, it couldn't have gone better, my perfect plan being executed perfectly. Oh shit, I disabled the wrong move. Good thing the worm's health was already super low at that point, or that could have gone poorly. But with a final tick of burn damage, we finish the third Titan. Next up, Iron Treads. I had a very special plan in mind for the Autobot. Meet the new team. I call it Operation Hindenburg. These Drafloon all have the ability Aftermath, which means that when they get knocked out, they explode and deal damage to the opponent. Doesn't take a genius to figure this one out. 1, 2, and 3, and 4. Stage 2 is also similarly anticlimactic. You'd think he'd figure out to stop attacking eventually, huh? Anyway, on to the final and most difficult Titan of them all. The final Titan. This one was easily the toughest. To start the fight, you have to head over to Casa Royal Lake and talk to this specific fish. Once you do, a massive Dondozo will jump out of the water and eat it and start fighting you. Also, if you stand here specifically, it looks like he eats you as well in the cutscene. I just think that's really fun. Before we go any further, meet the team, Salt and Pepper. Here's the plan. Deerling is holding a Quick Claw, which gives it a 20% chance to use its move first each turn. Deerling knows the move Leech Seed, which when it hits, makes the target lose 1/8 of its health until it's knocked out, and the damage it takes then heals up your current Pokemon. It took several attempts to get the Quick Claw to activate before the Dondozo knocked out Deerling, but eventually the item procced and we got it seeded. Now what? Meet Nacli. His job? Sit there and look good. It really didn't matter what moves he had, we only cared about him for his ability, Sturdy. Sturdy, if you didn't know, always lets you survive any hit on exactly 1 HP, as long as you were on full HP before you took the damage. Now that Dondozo was draining health and giving it back to Nacli every turn, whenever it attacked, Nacli would go all the way down to 1 HP and heal all the way back to full because 1/8 of Dondozo's HP was higher than all of Nacli's. After 8 turns, Dondozo went down and swam off to the location of Stage 2. I chased him down and saved my game again. Time for another round of resets until Deerling can get a Leech Seed off. As usual, Arven showed up again, which made the odds of landing a Leech Seed much higher, since the Dondozo sometimes chose to attack his Greedent instead of Deerling, which made my life a little easier. Eventually I got the move off, and allowed Deerling to be knocked out to make way for the little guy again. Same as Stage 1, except faster with Arven's help. Dondozo went down, but this Titan fight has a final third stage, the Tatsugiri from before. I go to use the same strategy as last time, but wait, when did Nacli level up? Apparently, after the second stage of the fight, your non-fainted Pokemon all gain XP, which is bad news for us since now we can't use Nacli. I reset back to my save point and came back with another team member. Meet the new team! Salt and Pepper and also another Salt as well. Same as last time, but with one important difference. As soon as the battle started with Dondozo, I swapped to our new Nacli for it to be knocked out so it doesn't gain any XP from this fight. Then after it's knocked out, we're back to the usual strat of using Deerling to seed, letting it get KO'd and then letting Nacli tank hits until the fight ends. When the final stage started, the whole team was healed back up to full. I used Deerling to seed again, and then swapped to our fresh, rules legal, newly healed up level 1 Nacli, who just sat back and drained the rest of Tatsugiri's HP, winning us the fight and the challenge. Thank you so much for watching, I really appreciate it. Please let me know in the comments what kind of games and challenges I should take on next, and I'll see y'all next time.